Hello and welcome to FilmDirt. I'm probably really late to the party here, but I thought it was about time I look into Contagion, which, yes, it came out in 2011, and coincidentally it features a virus remarkably similar to COVID. It had a fantastic cast, directed by Steven Soderbergh. Now, it seems like a lot of people, this film passed me by the first time it came out. Wasn't really interested in the subject matter, and I honestly don't recall seeing any advertising for it. Like I say, it just passed me by. And then I think it was after lockdown one for me. It was the first big lockdown happened, and we were finally allowed out to meet with friends and our families, albeit from a distance. When I started hearing about this movie, and quite a lot of people on social media were talking about it and how much of a strange coincidence it is. I did loosely watch some of it. I think it was featured on TV. I was watching some of it. I was working at the time, so yesterday I managed to catch it properly. And like many people, I'm quite amazed. This must be based on a very common respiratory virus type process and how it spreads, and incredibly how easy it spreads. We see here all the stories we've been lectured to before about sanitizing and, using door handles, rails, mobile phones, touching our faces and everything else that comes with it. I think we're all a little bit fed up with COVID now, aren't we? We've had pretty much 2 years of our lives wasted, and I have to wonder, would we really go through all that again? For the most part, I do think we were very careful. We took all the precautions and safety procedures we possibly could as human beings. We need to live our lives. And we were in a hurry to just get on with things. I mean, a lot of people couldn't wait to dispose of their masks and, very loosely social distancing, and usually not at all. And I don't want to get into any of the many conspiracy theories. I'm not a scientist, and I don't want to start talking about things I'm not educated in and little experience with as well. We all got our own opinions on how to combat this and live as how we want to live. The film does touch on a lot of conspiracy theories and bloggers, mainly with Jude Law's character. There was a lot more written and a greater opinion of what the virus is than what was presented in the film. Now again, coincidentally, Steven Soderbergh did outline the origin of how the virus was introduced with the opening montage in China, and then we saw scenes around the world of people just living their lives and showing how easy it is to spread germs. It's really unavoidable sometimes, isn't it? Especially when we're so connected with each other, with our friends and family and our colleagues. We're all hugging and kissing and breathing on each other while we talk, and using public transport for one, and again using handrails. It's so easy to spread such a deadly virus far and wide. And it is really striking how the film looks at wet markets and that the virus possibly came from bats. They're also mentioning pigs here as well. So we're looking at possible swine flu comparisons as well. I know we in the UK had that scare a number of years ago, and many other countries did as well, of course. We can only take the precautions as much as we can, but at the end of the day, we're still breathing air, we're still interacting with people. So really, we're kind of limited in how safe we can be, unless we wear full full body spacesuits, so we've got absolutely no connection to the outside world and breathing through filters all the time, but that's no way to live a life, is it? And pretty much impossible. But it is striking the similarities the film could predict from 2011 to, it was 2020, wasn't it? I remember March 2020 when the UK went into lockdown. It was almost like the whole country closed. And I was one to want to continue exercising, and I did venture out. But there was a concern in the back of my mind that the air I was breathing was including virus particles, and you start to have nightmares if you think too much about it. So I'm really glad for the most part it seems to be kind of relaxed and we're getting on with life. But there's some things we should really continue, such as, well, for one, cleanliness. We've all seen people sneezing and coughing aggressively in public, and we all have to turn away, don't we? It's kind of disgusting, isn't it? Especially when you've got kids around as well. I mean, the poor kids don't really know about safety and they just want to play, don't they? So you have to be forgiving of others, as much as we can. And then we look at the other conspiracies to do with the pharmaceutical companies. I mean, the film kind of mentions that a few times. That is a good topic to really think about seriously. And do the pharmaceuticals really want a cure? At what cost is any vaccine going to be? And someone's getting rich. Through every disaster, someone's getting rich. For me, I was thinking, how much profit are the hand sanitizer companies doing out of this? The movie covered raiding supermarkets for supplies, and there was quite a lot of violence. I mean, everyone's obviously scared. I don't know if we really saw that quite at that level. Maybe there were instances of many aggressive people just trying to grab whatever they could, and to probably analyse these incidents in the film like this, you're having to cast your mind back to what we had to go through during lockdown 1. I mean, it's not a very pleasant series of memories, is it? I'm sure many people lost loved ones and friends. I lost a dear friend of mine to COVID. So this film, although it was good to watch the point of view from such a long time ago, it did bring back some not so very pleasant memories. And the story with Matt Damon, that was a nice part to the movie, and it did go quite deep because we were obviously concerned for his character. And then we get the angle of whether or not his wife was really playing away while she was contracting the virus at the same time. And that brings me to the closing montage at the end of the movie, where we do see that it was possibly spread to Gwyneth Paltrow's character via an infected pig when she was in a restaurant. I didn't like seeing how unclean some restaurants can be. Again, business comes first over hygiene. To look at it overall, it's hard to see what significant story the film was trying to tell. We did get the overview of the virus spreading and the panic associated with it, who gets the vaccines first and when. I mean, that was great, but didn't really seem to be an overall entertaining story. It was just something for us to think about. It just didn't seem to be a big enough statement to justify the film. And of course, it is interesting, and lots of people were telling us to re-watch the film because it's strikingly similar. So it's all a little bit of an anticlimax. At least it was for me. Apart from interesting incidents, there's very little I could take from the film. What I was expecting, seriously, to happen was that each of the characters would die. And that would be a statement to highlight this tragedy. But not everyone died, and it was pretty much mirroring real life in that regard. So I'll give this movie above average. It's 3 stars for me. And that's for the excellent outline of all the incidents involving pharmaceutical company, conspiracies and panic, and it was all played out very well with a fantastic cast. So, thanks for revisiting this film with me, and to leave you with a little bit about myself, I'm a completely unbiased reviewer with no connection at all to any of the studios. I'm not in any marketing scheme and I don't get free tickets. Thanks again for joining me. Pleasure to talk to you. Like and subscribe and all that jazz everyone always tells you. And I'll see you again for another chat on this channel. All the best. Take care.